Hey, Catherine.
Hi.
How's it going today?
It's good, thank you.
Good. So we're here to interview you for your profile on the No Fear Counseling website. This is aimed to give prospective clients a little bit of a deeper dive into you and to learn a little bit about you before starting to work with you. First question to you is just who are you? How long you've been at No Fear Counseling?
Mm, yeah, I'm Catherine Kirkness, and my position is, I guess, employee counselor with No Fear Counseling. And I think I've been with No Fear since about 2020 when I started my practicum. Um, and yeah, I went to UBC.
And where do you do your in-person workout?
Well, I have a number of different locations. So I have one day a week at Airport Square. I have another day at Burnaby Square. And when I'm not square, I'm on Commercial Drive for 2 days a week.
Yeah,
And another day I work in a college with international students.
great. And I'm guessing you're at the commercial drive location right now?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then kind of zooming out, we probably asked you this when you were interviewing a long time ago for the practicum program, but yeah, what was the inspiration behind choosing pursuing counseling as a career for you?
Thanks. Yeah, I think I've always been really interested in and curious about people, and I've spent a lot of time reading, studying people's stories, but um, I kind of reached a point in my life where that didn't seem helpful enough to me. Like it was satisfying for me, but I didn't feel I was really giving anything back to the community. I wasn't improving anything in the world, and it was really partly that that made me want to become a counselor, but also experiences I had had in my life when things were difficult and I received really good support, whether it was from friends or family or professionals. I really came to see that we all need other people. That I really believe in kind of an interdependent model of how people thrive best, and I just wanted to be more part of that.
Right. So it sounds like it was very like bottom up through your own experience that kind of kept knocking on the door for you to kind of come back to this profession.
Yeah, yeah, and I think also the experience of parenthood where I just
Mm.
realized that, that relationships are challenging and that everybody needs to feel like they matter to someone, that they can get support, that they can talk about what's going on for them.
Yeah. So in a sense, like everyone could benefit from counseling is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are fine with, not feeling the need for it, but yeah, I see it as kind of a relationship where you can you can grow, where you can feel supported and secure. It's like a nurturing type of relationship.
Right. And that bridges the gap to the next question, which is like what is counseling and who could benefit from it?
Uh-huh. Um, well, for me, counseling is very much like a collaborative process. It's not a situation where I have advice to give or where I think I know best the solutions to people's vexing problems. I more think of it as an opportunity for people to access the resource that I represent as a person, and that the process can offer them. So it's a conversation, and I think that it's often helpful for people to be able to say their truths out loud, to feel heard around that. That's what I'm striving for, is just to listen in a way that shows interest and care, and openness to whatever they bring to me. Um, but I do think that that process, that experience of being able to speak and be heard is a really valuable human thing that we all need. We don't all have to find it with a counselor, but sometimes that person is good just because they don't have other skin in the game. They don't have
Yeah.
an opinion necessarily about what's going on in your life, but they can help you see your perspective on it in a different way.
What would therapy look like with you? How would you describe your unique counseling space?
I don't come into the session with an ironclad agenda or a plan, even necessarily. I more want to hear what seems most important to the person in front of me in the moment that we're together. So yeah, I try to be very open for that. And kind of receptive, and then I guess able to roll with that, like to take that somewhere that's going to be helpful. So I like to try not to be just, a good listener, but more like a resource, whatever form that needs to take for the person. Um,
Yeah, so that responsiveness, adaptability is that the key word for you in how you work with clients? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I would say I really try to be flexible. I try to be flexible around timing, and around, the stuff that comes up that gets in the way of people attending the sessions, and just to be open also to feedback. So if somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I'm really concerned that, we don't seem like we're going anywhere," then I would want to address that. Or if they came and said, "Everybody keeps telling me what to do, and I don't even know what my own voice is," I would want to be responsive to that.
Mhm. Good. And what are some of the most common reasons that so far in your experience people come to therapy to seek you out, or that you have like an affinity to work with? Like what are the most common presenting issues?
Yeah, I think I find that often relationship concerns is near the top of the list, and whether that's because somebody's feeling incredibly lonely and unsupported and doesn't have the type of relationships that they need in their life, or whether they're in a relationship that is, for whatever reason, not working well for them. If they come as a couple or partnership or family members, then I'm kind of working directly with all the people involved in that relationship. But a lot of the time, I think with individuals, I'm also, um, wanting to explore who's important to them, how it feels for them to interact with that person, what comes up around how that's going. Um, yeah. So that's a big focus, I think, for me and for a lot of the people I work with, as well as some of the standard things, depression, anxiety, um, neurodivergence, which I think, often impacts relationships or impacts your sense of security in the world, or um, yeah, kind of the unique experience of that person is going through, and then what they need to talk about that has to do with that experience.
And the answer to this might be different for individuals versus like relationship, like interpersonal counseling. But what can clients expect in a typical first session? And what would be helpful for them to prepare ahead of time, if anything? Or does the client need to prepare at all? Or can they just come in as they are?
Yeah, I certainly think they can come in as they are. They're often, typical areas that I might be curious to know more about, but I do really try to be led by, what brings you here, and how are you hoping I might help. I would want people to know that it's okay if they feel anxious coming into it, but also that they're not there to perform for me. I don't have a fixed set of expectations about the preparation they will have done, or how well they will summarize their experiences. I'm much more just want to build some trust and get to know them and try and figure out how I could be helpful.
Great. And what does progress look like? And like, how is this sort of gauged or like assessed? And yeah, internal or external? Like, how do we measure that?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question actually that counselors need to be aware of, and for me progress is often up to the client. Like I want to know if you see movement, if you can see growth in yourself, if you feel ready to not be coming back, or if you feel the need for, something really ongoing. Um, I think for me, I do sometimes see progress where maybe my client doesn't, and I think that can be an important resource for them. It's just, if they have the sense of like I'm so stuck and I can't get anywhere and nothing ever changes, and I don't see the point of this, then I might be able to say, well, I've noticed this
Mhm.
in you, or I remember when you felt this way before, and then you made some changes in your life, and something shifted for you, and maybe that will happen again. So I guess I like to think that I can be aware of and notice a process of change, but I also don't expect it. Like some of the things that
Mhm.
bring people into counseling are, it's not really like they have to change as a person. Maybe they're experiencing grief because they've lost a very treasured person from their life. Well, I don't think they have to do that differently. I really respect however they're dealing with that experience, but I can still support them even if I'm not trying to help them change around it.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. So it's like client led, but also when they're not in a good place, possibly you also have some, objective measures or external measures from them that you can also point out that will kind of combine with their own view.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would really hesitate to use the word objective because I don't
Yes,
necessarily see
external.
myself as
Correct.
objective. But yeah, like I'm outside the person's life, and so I think I can provide a different perspective, and even if it's
Mm.
subjectively my sense of things.
Yeah,
Once we build up trust and have spent
yeah.
some time together, then I think that's also meaningful to my clients.
Right. A question that often comes up from clients is, how do I know that the person I'm working with is a good fit, whether it's with you or with someone else? But like, what kind of things can they look out for?
Yeah, I encourage people to go with their feelings. Like if they look forward to the session maybe, or if they um feel comfortable and safe within it, even though we're working with material that really feels neither comfortable nor safe. Like, I guess I think that their intuitive sense of, do I want to sit with this counselor, and do I feel some relief or something that I look for in the experience when I'm with this counselor, then I think that's really important. Like, it doesn't matter if I've got you know, degrees or training, or I think I'm an expert in whatever problem you've brought to me. I think what matters the most to me is how you feel about our time together.
Yeah, we're always like assessing their internal sense, and we're like trying to serve, their interests at all times.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to be really open to their experience too. So sometimes people will come into a session and say, like, I really didn't want to come today. And
Mm.
then that's kind of a great starting point, I think, because that tells us both something about what's going on for them that we can
Mhm.
then learn more from exploring.
Yeah, and shows that they're comfortable to tell you that right off the bat, which is great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they don't feel comfortable to tell me what's going on for them and to be real about it, then maybe it's not a good fit, and they'd be better to try
Yeah.
speaking with someone else.
Or it's just early in the process, the relationship isn't there yet. Yeah.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Um, what's your view on how change or healing occurs in therapy?
I guess I take a very relational perspective on that. Like, I do see it as partly the experience of counseling can provide you with a relationship that ideally will be healthy for you, that will have your best interests at the heart of it, that will give you a sense of safety, and make it possible for you to reflect and be self-aware and kind of talk things over. Um, I feel like I'm straight off the question, but yeah, I don't think I am looking to change my clients. I generally really trust them to know what's going on for them, and to be able to tell what's helping them in life and what's hurting them. And so, yeah, it's really about, can I provide them a space where they are able to bring all of that material up, and kind of share the experience of considering it. Um,
And how long, obviously it varies client to client, but how long does it typically take to see improvement? And then also, what is a typical like life cycle of a client? Like, how many sessions does it take to get to completion? And maybe you can comment on like frequency as well. That's a very common question we get.
Yeah, yeah. When people ask me like, when should I come back or how often should I see you? I'm always like, well, how often feels right to you? Like, what does your schedule and your funding and your desire to have this experience tell you about when you want to do it again? So I don't generally have a preconceived notion of like, oh, you have to come every week or you have to come 20 times. I think there are people who benefit from just having an ongoing relationship with a counselor where they might come every week during a time of crisis and then they might not come for 6 months or 2 years and then something else will come up and they come back. So that's where I think I'm really flexible. I don't have a fixed idea in mind. I think if I know, okay, you're here for 4 sessions, then I will make sure that that process kind of begins and has a middle and then comes to some sort of conclusion by the end of the 4 sessions. Sometimes people just come for one session and I don't see them again, and I certainly hope that they got something out of it and that they had what they needed and they were ready to move on. But I'm open if they decide to come back at any point. I'm not kind of shutting
Mhm.
the door on that.
Yeah. So coming back to that, it is client led and client decided on. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a very nuanced question, right? Because there's no one size fits all for any client.
Yeah, I'd say the only place where I maybe have more, like more of a sense of like this would probably be helpful for you is when I'm working with couples, and then I think there's kind of research around like it might take about this many sessions to achieve a lasting change there, and I'd provide that information to people, but again, I would never want to pressure someone to sort of go beyond what seemed reasonable to them or affordable or just
Mhm.
doable.
Good. And last question for me. Not that all clients ask this, but people might be interested. What do you do when you're not doing counseling?
Ah,
Or what do you like to do? Your
yeah.
hobbies or yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very big on my family. I have adult kids. I have an elderly parents. They all kind of live in the same city, so I really cherish my time with them. I really like to walk, so that's something I kind of do every day. I do it at some length. I do it even in the rain. That feels really good to me. I like to spend time with friends just in a relaxed way. If they're into walking, then all the better. We can do that together. Um, yeah, I read a lot and listen to books. Sometimes when I'm walking, sometimes when I'm in cleaning the kitchen. But yeah, I would say I really like learning, so I'm always trying to do things that satisfy my curiosity, or just looking things up, or like trying to find books that might be helpful to my clients. So yeah, I'm pretty
Mm.
career focused, I would say. Like
Mm.
I work a lot, but I really enjoy that and feel very
Mhm.
privileged to do this kind of work.
Yeah, and that really comes through in this interview, and obviously from knowing you as well. Do you think there's anything else we didn't cover that that does come up from your clients that you think would be important for prospective clients that may be interested in working with you for them to know about you or about the process at all?
I guess maybe I'll comment that I emphasize in my written profile elements of diversity because that is really important to me to be inclusive and welcoming and open to people, from cultures that are different from mine, special qualities than mine. I don't think I have to be the same as my clients in order to be a useful resource for them. But at the same time, sometimes people ask me, "Oh, like I'm not LGBTQ or I don't have ADHD, like would you
Mm.
still work with me?" And
Mhm.
of course, like I see, the full range of humanity as really fair game as far as counseling goes. Like I think I always learn from my clients, and I hope that I'm really open to what it's like to be them. And so I don't think I have to have the same experiences as they do in order to be helpful.
Great. Thank you. That I think will, liven up the written profile, give a little bit more color to it. So I really appreciate you virtually, sitting down with me. And for those that are watching, if you do have more questions about Catherine, feel free to reach out or to put it in the comments. And if there's enough questions, we can always do a round two of this and kind of go even deeper dive for those that are interested in learning about Catherine. Thanks so much, Catherine. And you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Yeah.